Hello everyone, today we learn about the new topic gravitation. First now let us see the gravitational force. Here two bodies mass m1 m2 are placed at a distance r. Then what will be the gravitational force acting m1 to m2 and m2 and m1? So here gravitational force will be equal to g m1 m2 by r square, where gravitational force 1 on 2 and the gravitational force from 2 to 1 will be equal, but that is f1 to 2 is equals to minus of f2 to 1. Here we are taking minus sign due to because both the forces are equal and are acting opposite in the direction. Moreover, gravitational force between the two masses doesn't depend on the medium. Here the medium does not come into the action in the case of gravitational force, and it remains same from medium to medium. So gravitational force between the two masses does not depend on the medium and it remains same from medium to medium. That's it. Clear? Now let us see null point. What do you mean by null point? Null point is nothing but the point where the gravitational force will be equal to 0. Gravitational force is 0. Here two masses m and 4m, and the null point will be always between the two masses. Here at the null point a mass m1 is taken. So what will be the distance of the null point from mass m? That is, they asked us to find the value of x. X is equals to how much? Here, as you already learned that the gravitational force between the two masses will be always equal. So g m dash by r square is equals to g 4m m dash by distance between the m dash and 4m is, here this total distance between the m and 4m is d, and the distance between the m and m dash is x. Then the distance between the m dash and 4m will be equal to d minus x. So d minus x whole square. So finally we are left with 1 by, here is the distance is x, 1 by x is equals to 2 by d minus x. D minus x is equals to 2x, x is equals to, d is equals to 3x, then x is equals to d by 3. That's it. Clear? So distance between the m and m dash will be equal to d by 3. So if they ask us the distance between the 4m and m dash means, then we are going to do d minus d by 3. It's nothing but 2d by 3. Let's say a problem related to the null point. Here given the separation between the center of earth and the moon is d, and the mass of the earth is given as 81 times that of the mass of the moon. Then find the distance of null point from the center of the earth. So here the mass of the earth is 81 times that of the moon, and the distance between the center of the earth and the center of the moon is d, and the distance of null point from the earth is x. So we need to find the value of x. Then here g for gravitational force of the earth will be equal to g 81 times of mass of the moon m dash by x square is equals to g m dash by d minus x square. Now I will write 81 as 9 square, so I can cancel squares on the both side. m dash by x square is equal to g m dash by d minus x whole square. Then finally we are left with 9 by x 1 minus d minus x. So 9d minus 9x is equals to x. 9d is equals to 10x. Then finally the value of x, that is a distance from the center of the earth to null point, will be equal to 9d by 10. That's it, simple. If they ask us from the center of the moon, then the distance of the null point from the center of the moon will be equal to d by 10. That's clear. Here, now let us see another concept. Here three identical masses, each of mass m, are kept at three vertices of an equilateral triangle. So equilateral triangle means all the angles will be equal to 60 degrees. Okay, of each of side a. So all sides also will be equal. So gravitational force on any vertex. So they asked us a gravitational force on any vertex, nothing but gravitational force on any mass. So I'll calculate the gravitational force here. So gravitational force, mass m on this m will be equal to F1, that is nothing but equal to gm square by a square. Then gravitational force of mass, this m on this will be equal to F2 gm square by a square. So both the gravitational forces F1 and F2 are equal to gm square by a square. So the magnitude of sum of equal vectors will be equal to F resultant will be equal to F resultant. F resultant is equal to under root of F1 square plus F2 square 2F1 F2 cos theta. That is nothing but both the magnitudes are equal, so F square plus F square 2F F1 into F2, that is F square, cos theta value is nothing but 60 degrees. So F square plus F square plus cos 60 is nothing but equal to 1 by 2. So 2 will get cancelled. So value 1 by 2, both the 2 get cancelled, then we finally were left with f square. So resultant will be equal to 3f square, that is nothing but under root 3 f, that is f resultant equal to under root 3 gm square by a square. That's it, clear. If they mention that the whole system revolves in a circular orbit, then the angular velocity will be equal to. So what will be the angular velocity if this asked us whole system will revolve in a circular orbit? Then F resultant will be equal to nothing but centripetal force, that is nothing but mv square by r. mv square by r, where v will be equal to r omega, mr omega whole square by r. Then finally we are left with mr omega square. Therefore mr omega square will be equal to F centripetal force, that is nothing but resultant force. mr omega square will be equal to root 3 gm square by a square. Then what will be the value of r? The total system revolve in the circular orbit. Here value of r will be equal to a by root 3. So m times of a by root 3 omega square is equals to root 3 gm square by a square, where value of omega will be equal to under root of gm by 3 gm by a cube. That's clear, simple. Another similar problem related to that concept. Now let's say another similar problem related to that concept. Here, four particles having mass m are placed on four vertices of a square having side length of a. Then they ask us to find F net on any of the particle and omega of the complete system. So now I'm going to consider the F net force on this particle. So always the force, direction of the force will be from m1 to m2. So here one of the force acts in this direction on the mass m, and another force acts in this direction on this mass. And let us consider this, both the forces magnitude will be equal as the distance r is equal to a. But here the force on this mass will be equal to F dash. It will not be equal to the similar magnitude, as here distance is different. This is the diagonal distance. Here the distance is a. So where the value of the diagonal will be equal to of a square is root 2a. So F net force will on this mass will be equal to F net is equal to root 2f plus f dash. So F resultant of this, both the forces will be equal to root 2f. F1 square plus f2 square, 2f1 f2 cos theta under root. So where the cos theta, the angle of theta will be equal to 90 degrees, that is equal to 0. Finally we are left with f1 square plus f2 square, f square plus f square, that is F resultant will be equal to root 2f. That's clear. So root 2 value of f will be equal to gm square by a square. Then the value of f dash, nothing but the distance is the diagonal, will be equal to gm square by root 2a whole square. That's it. Clear. Then they even ask us for the omega of the system. What will be the omega of the system? Then for omega, the value of F net will be equal to mr omega square is equals to gm square by root 2a whole square plus root 2 gm square by a square, where the value of r will be equal to half of the diagonal length. If the total system is rotating in a circle, then this will become a circle, where r is nothing but the radius of the circle will be half of the diagonal length. R. So value of r will be root 2a by 2, nothing but a by root 2 omega square will be equal to gm square by root 2a whole square plus root 2 gm square by a square. Simple, that's it. Clear. So another simple problem related to the angular velocity. Here two particles having mass m separated by different distance d moves on a circular path due to the mutual gravitational force. Find the value of omega of the masses. So here F resultant will be equal to nothing but F gravitational force will be equal to gm square by d square, where d is the distance between the two masses. Then F gravitational force will be equal to nothing but centripetal force acting between them. So where centripetal force will be equal to mr omega square gm square by d square, where r is nothing but the radius of this system, where the radius of the system will be equal to d by 2. So m d by 2 omega square is equals to gm square by d square, where the value, finally the value of omega will be equal to under root of 2 g m by d cube. That's it, simple. Here let's say another concept. If the body has to be broken into two parts as a gravitational force between the parts will be maximum, then the masses of the broken parts must be same. So in order to be the maximum gravitational force, then the body should be broken into two equal parts where both the masses must be same. So in order to have the same masses, after breaking down, their masses must be equal to m by 2 comma m by 2. So mass m, in order to have maximum gravitational force, the value of m1 and m2 must be equal to m by 2 m by 2. Suppose if you are going to consider 10 kg mass, so in order to have maximum gravitational force, then this 10 kg mass must be broken into 5 kg mass and 5 kg mass. That's it, simple. So another problem here, two spheres made up of the same material having radius are placed touching each other. So they ask us to find the dependence of force between them on their radius having same mass. So F will be equal to gem square by r square as both the masses are equal. So as I ask for dependence of force on the radius, F is directly proportional to m square by r square. Moreover, as the materials are same, then the density will be equal. The density also will be same. So density, as we know, the density is equals to mass by volume. So as the density is constant, volume is directly proportional to the mass, and the volume of a sphere is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube. So r cube is directly proportional to m. So F is directly proportional to r cube whole square by r square. That is nothing but r to the power of 6 by r square. So finally the dependence of force on the radius will be equal to r to the power of 4. So in this problem we need to consider even the mass also. We need to not to say directly as F is directly proportional to 1 by r square. We need to convert mass in terms of r, that is a relation between the mass and r, so that you will get F is directly proportional to r to the power of 4. So don't confuse, that's simple. Listen this problem very carefully. This is one of the most expected NEET question. Already in the previous papers also we got this question in the mains. So carefully understand. So here they ask us to find the new gravitational force after removing a r by 2 part. So F remaining will be equal to F original minus F removed. So original gravitational force here equal to Gm m by 3r square as the distance of from m1 to m2, that is nothing but m2 capital M before removing the sphere. So that is 3r. So gmm by 3r square. After the removing r by second part, so then the mass will become of the new sphere will be, as mass is directly proportional to volume. As mass is directly proportional to volume, so where volume is directly proportional to 4 by 3 pi r cube. So mass is directly proportional to the r cube. So if r by 2 path is removed, then finally the new mass will be equal to r by 2, that is r by 2 to the power of 3, nothing but 8. So m dash will be equal directly proportional to r cube by 8, where r cube is directly proportional to m. So m dash is directly proportional to m by 8. So F removed will be equal to G m dash m by r dash whole square. then the value of r dash will be equal to, here this will be equal to r by 2, and the newer distance from here to here will be equal to 3r minus r by 2, that is nothing but 5r by 2. So we know what is the value of m dash and we know the value of r dash. Then finally f remaining will be equal to gmm by 3r square minus of g m dash nothing but m by 8 m by r dash whole square, where r dash is nothing but 5r by 2 whole square. So finally gmm by 3 square 9 r square minus gmm by 8 5 square 25 r square 2 square 4 4 2s are 8. So gmm by 9r square minus gmm by 50r square. So finally we'll get f remaining will be equal to 41 gmm by 450 r square. That is nothing but after doing the LCM we'll get 41 gmm by 450 r square. That's it. Clear? Anyone wanted to join in my online classes, please contact me 9866019191, and please don't forget to subscribe my channel. Stay tuned, don't miss any of my class. In my next class I am going to teach about acceleration due to gravity. Take care, have a nice day.